Hello everyone, I all hope you had a very wonderful and very blessed evening and very much of a great day indeed. Well, as you can see, guys, the weather is quietly pretty cloudy and it's quietly very much raining and drizzling as always. This weather is completely unpredictable as well. But despite that, guys, I'm very grateful for your support in watching and in viewing my episodes. It gratefully means a lot to me. So God bless you all, guys. God bless you all completely. And I all hope you guys can see that I'm also pursuing my dreams as I'm exactly doing. So if you're willing to pursue yours, you must exactly go ahead if you're exactly willing. But that's completely up to you, and it's always it's completely your choice and your decision as well. So very grateful for your support, guys. Completely very grateful for your support. So God bless you. Today's episode we're to speak about Deadman, who is a supervillain and an assassin and a member of the Order of Darkness, which is a very powerful ancient organization of a powerful ancient organization of assassins and supervillains who are working on the behalf of the founders to restore power to cities, worlds, and planets, and also to the known universe as well in the process as well. So let's exactly begin. In Dadman's early life, he lived in the sacred forest for many centuries ago, able to have the abilities and the power to awaken up the dead. To doing so at this point, Deadman exactly discovered that the war between the monsters and the Phoenician hunters continued to wage on and continued to go on. At this rate, that man exactly arrived to the sacred garden, which is a powerful, ancient, mystical force that's been highly active and alive for many millennia and highly active and alive and for many centuries, able to trap in the forces of good and evil, able to imprison both the forces of good and evil in its parallel dimension within the sacred garden itself as well. At that time, Deadman exactly approached the sacred garden, asking it for his advice, asking the sacred garden for his advice, asking the sacred garden for advice, and also to know exactly of his true destiny and also of his true mission. The sacred garden exactly replied to Deadman that his destiny and his mission is of his own doing, and that how he proceeds to with it is exactly up to him completely. Whether he's willing to go through the dark path or throughout the light path is completely at his choice. But the sacred garden completely warned Deadman that if he proceeds on going through the dark path, he will pay the ultimate price, and that he will be taken down as others of the other supervillains and enemies who've exactly come before him as well, and who'll exactly suffer fate far worse than death. That man exactly reassured the sacred garden that he has a plan of his own in order to rise to power and ascend to a power, and in order to completely gain control of the sacred world and of the other known worlds throughout the known universe and throughout the sacred world as well, in a process in order to further his own plans of controlling the known worlds and the known planets of the sacred universe in the process as well. After that, he departed from the sacred forest and from the sacred garden, and beginning to discover that he has a power and the ability to awaken and control the undead, which he successfully able to do. He awakened the undead and he literally controlled them and used them as an army to attack the supernatural community village, to attack the supernatural and alien and superhuman community villages and world, which created a plague and a disease throughout the known worlds and throughout the known universe. At this point, the Four Nation Hunters were forced to intervene, which they gladly intervened, realizing that they're facing against their most powerful, formidable enemy, formidable adversary and enemy, which they exactly decided to use their dagger and their supernatural powers to attack the army of the dead and also to neutralize them. At this point, the Four Nation Hunters realized that they saw the source of they exactly saw the source of the undead rising, and exactly who was exactly able to bring them back, which completely it was Deadman exactly himself. The Four-Nation Hunters, two Four-Nation Hunters, gladly attacked Deadman, but they were easily overpowered and outmatched and outmaneuvered by Deadman's powers and his abilities, as well as Deadman completely able to fight against them and completely neutralize them. Deadman completely lost the war for Soul controlling other worlds and other villages due to the Four-Nation Hunters intervening, and completely successfully succeeded in driving him off-world and off the other known worlds, and known planets throughout the rest of the cosmos, and successfully able to remove him away completely before he posed a magnificent threat to the rest of sacred existence. Deadman exactly returned to his central headquarters of his laboratory, which was in the ancient dark ruins of a powerful dark mystical forest, where he was able to successfully operate from. At this point, he combined troll blood and goblin blood and put it inside his DNA, where he gained more power, more dark power, and more dark power and ability, and more dark energy and ability than ever before. In doing so, he became obsessed with more dark power and obtaining the secrets of darkness and also power. At this point, he had the power and the ability of controlling, and the power and the ability of gravity, in manipulating gravity, and the power of magnetic pole at will, and the power of exactly controlling things and entering people's minds at will. And he also gains the power of infusing shadow energy, combining shadow energy with troll and goblin blood, and infusing it within his body, which made him completely immortal and very much completely very powerful. At this rate, one of Master Bond exactly approached Deadman with a very much intriguing offer at the time, telling him that he should join the Order of Darkness, which could exactly help him unlock his purpose and his driven destiny and his calling of his power, which the Order of Darkness could use a man of his skills and his talents and his abilities as well. Deadman completely exactly accepted the offer, and he gladly accepted the proposal as well, that he will aid the Order of Darkness in their respective mission and their goals, as long as he can fulfill his own objectives and his own mission as well. And Master Bond and Deadman completely shook hands and remarked each other as master and students, and also as well as an associate as well, completely. On the on the 20th of January, Deadman was completely meditating within his secret laboratory within the ancient caves of the ancient mystical dark forest, where he was completely able to meditate until one dark magic user told him that Witchcaster is completely more powerful and very much more quietly more deadly, and that Amber, the goddess of power, the witch of power, has completely rose into occasion to becoming the ally of the Order of the Five. Deadman was completely unsurprised or very much quietly, unelatedly unsurprised with this development. But Deadman realizes that he has to rise to occasion as well in order to remove these universal heroes and take them out of the way completely as well, meaning by removing the Shadow Empire's grip from other worlds and other planets, to making sure that the original Lord of Magic, who's in control of the Shadow Empire, doesn't exactly conquer worlds or destroy them in a process which could thwart and dispute his plans in a process as well. On the 1st of February, the death of the original Lord of Magic created a power vacuum within the entire shadow, within the entire sorry about that. Just trying to make sure that there's no one else trying to exactly come in. Anyway, the death of the original Lord of Magic created a power vacuum within the Shadow Empire, forcing the Shadow Empire warlord and commander to fight for the Shadow Empire throne, and some of the other Shadow Empire warlords commanders exactly formed their own factions, while the others secretly formed an alliance with ancient powerful groups of evil super villain groups known as the Order of the Five, the Order of the Six, the Order of the Seven, and the Order of the 12, and also the Unholy Alliance, the Founders, Sacred Five, and the Sacred Circle as well. This to supply them with destructive technology. In return, these ancient groups of evil supervillains will supply them with more worlds and with more planets. One Shadow Empire warlord exactly arrived on Deadman's central headquarters of his base, telling him that he will supply the Order of Darkness with more destructive technology and more power. And Deadman was completely very much happy and very highly pleased of this discovery as well. On the 12th of February, on the 12th of February, that man exactly intercepted the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders about to successfully convene all together, and he decided in order to storm that convening meeting and to take them out and successfully remove them out of the way completely, which he gladly jumped in into the meeting of the Shadow Empire warlord commander, and he gladly took them all on and completely fought against them. Shadow Boy was forced to intervene in order to fight against this new adversary, which is successfully able to do so. All the other Shadow Empire warlords and commanders gladly took on each other, fight. They fought amongst themselves, which created a chaos and a turmoil. The Intergalactic Coalition was forced to intervene, which it gladly exactly intervened. That man exactly decided to use his hand-to-hand combat skills in order to fight off against the Shadow Empire warlord, which he gladly did, and he was able to gain some of the legions and the loyalties of the other Shadow Empire warlords and commanders in the process. By doing so, they completely began to trust him and they completely began to rely on him. In doing so, they submitted to Deadman and also to the Order of Darkness and also to the founders as well. Shadow Boy completely fought against Deadman, and Deadman proved to be more powerful and more very much quietly deadly, as Deadman exactly told the battle cruisers of the Shadow Empire Warlord Commander to launch the attack on the ground in order to destroy all the other Shadow Empire Warlords and Commanders in the face of the destruction of the entire meeting base of the ancient sacred grounds of the planets, where the entire battle cruisers of the Shadow Empire Warlord, which completely successfully destroyed it, completely allowing Deadman and the other Shadow Empire Warlords and commanders to successfully escape. Shadow Boy realizes that Deadman is becoming a threat and very much becoming a thorn, and that he's very much quietly ambitious and very ruthless and very, very cruel in nature, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to sabotage the Shadow Empire's futures and goals for his own sinister purpose and for his own goals in a process. To this point, he realizes that Deadman will pose a magnificent threat than any other before. On the 20th of February, Deadman successfully exactly told the Shadow Empire Warlords commanders that in return, he will supply them with more worlds and with more planets and more civilizations that are under his control, and that the Order of Darkness will restore power and also dignity, and also by combining and integrating technology all together in one, which could exactly help fill the purpose of the Shadow Empire Warlords commanders. And the Shadow Empire Warlords were very successfully pleased and very gratefully pleased of this offer and of this proposal, and they decided in order to shake hands with Deadman and told him that they will supply him with more shadow energy containers and more power. And Deadman was reluctantly pleased and very, very, very happy with this, as in completely very, very happy with this. On the on the on the 9th of March, on the 9th of March, Deadman completely exactly began training an elite group of assassins of the Order of Darkness in a swordsmanship combat on his other central headquarters of his little block island, which is in the middle of a which is located on another dark planet where he trained his proteges and his assassins and his proteges and his students on a swordsmanship training, and he kept on training them and he kept on drilling them harder, and in telling them that the sword is more powerful with its opponent, and also they can become the one weapon that can take down the opponent and also the adversary as well. And the students and the proteges were completely very happy with their master's training, and also they were very quietly completely very pleased with a leader and also with a master known as Deadman as well in the process as well. And Deadman was successfully pleased and very happy as well. On the on the on the 23rd of March, Deadman completely combined shadow energy with goblin blood and combined it and infused it within himself until he gained more power and more dark abilities, and more dark abilities continue to grow and continue to adapt, and he continued to evolve, completely able to exactly grow more powerful as he infused himself with more shadow energy and with more power. One dark druid exactly appeared before Deadman, telling him that everything else is going according to plan. Everything else is quietly according to plan, the way it's supposed to be, and that the schedule is quietly being put in place. And Deadman was completely reluctantly pleased and very successfully happy with the results of how everything else is going. Between Between April and May, Master Bond completely resigned from the founders, from the Sacred Circle, and left the leadership of the Order of Darkness under the current leadership of Silverface, who is a new member of the founders and who is also the new current leader of the Order of Darkness as well at the time as well. Despite that, on the 13th of May, Deadman exactly completely met up with Silverface, who is the new current leader of the Order of Darkness, and told him that the founders may need his help and his expertise in order to successfully remove the Universal Heroes and the rest of the United Heroes out of the way. But the first step they have to start is removing the Universal Earth Heroes and the Universal Space Heroes and the Universal Founders out of the way completely. And Deadman completely agreed that this is the perfect time for him to test his power and to test his abilities as well in the process, and he completely agreed with Silverface that he'll take care of the ambush and everything else, and that he has a perfect plan in order how to successfully do it as well within his own orchestration, which he began orchestrating a powerful plan and a very, very sinister ambush in order to ambush all his enemies and foes in one big, big surprise attack as well. On the 13th of June, the Universal Earth Heroes and the Universal Monster Heroes and the Universal Founders and the rest of the Universal Defending Heroes exactly successfully met up at an unknown world that was completely harvested and destroyed many centuries ago, and it was completely harvested and destroyed many centuries ago, and all its energy and magical powers were completely harvested and completely destroyed, were completely destroyed by the dark, powerful magic users who are the current followers of another powerful dark witch known as Mother Witch as well, many centuries ago. Our sacred heroes completely exactly met up on that world, unaware that the entire meeting was quietly orchestrated by another sinister villain, until Deadman completely revealed themselves, and the rest of his assassins were heavily equipped with Shadow Empire and destructive technology, and he told the sacred heroes that this is a time for them to completely successfully die and for them to completely successfully to be wiped out. The Universal Founders exactly told Deadman that they're not going down without a fight. So did the Universal Monster Heroes, and so did the rest of the Universal Space Heroes completely. And they decided in order to marshal their troops, and they decided to go to a battle, which is successfully exactly able to go to a battle. Deadman exactly took out his sword and took out his two of his swords and completely fought against the monster here, the universal founding hero leader known as Noah, and completely took him on in a swordsmanship attack. And he completely was they were both of them were completely evilly matched, and Noah realized that Deadman is completely powerful and very ruthless and very relentless and very quietly persuade him in any other way. Deadman exactly decided in order to retreat, which he created a smoke screen, and he successfully disappeared within the battle. The Universal Monster Heroes and the Universal Founders and the Universal Defending Heroes successfully captured several key enemies, and they send them into custody, straightly into the astral prison, to remain in custody for their crimes against the sacred world and against the known universe and against the sacred universe as well. In the process, at this point, Deadman completely successfully returned to his central headquarters. On the 20th of June, where he completely realized that his powers are completely growing, and they're completely growing in power. He decided in order to tell the dark magic users that it's perfectly the right time for them to converge their power and combining it as one. The dark magic users completely infused Deadman with more shadow energy and with more power than ever before, and Deadman became more powerful and more dangerous than ever before, and he exactly became more darker and more cruel in nature, losing his serenity and his humanity in the process. And Deadman exactly rose from the ranks and rised, as well as that his power exactly holds no bounds, as he has the ability to project in dark magic orbs, and the ability of controlling living things and also living creatures. Deadman decided it's best that he tests his power and he tests his abilities as well. On the 13th of July, Deadman completely exactly destroyed an entire world, an entire planet, with an army of battle cruisers and warships, with an army of battle cruisers and warships, in order to test his power and his might. And he completely decimated the planet with his dark magic abilities. But before the planet was completely decimated, the Universal Magic Heroes completely arrived and fought against Deadman and the rest of the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders with their battle cruisers and with their warships. They took on the enemy head on and they fought against Deadman, realizing that Deadman is too powerful. The Universal Magic Heroes decided in order for them to successfully take him down, and they decided to successfully exactly take out Deadman and remove him out of the way. Deadman completely disappeared within the battle, leaving the Dark Magic users to complete their fight against the Universal Magic Heroes, and the Universal Magic Heroes successfully succeeded in thwarting the operation of the Dark Magic users and of the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders before they destroyed another innocent world. Deadman completely returned to his central headquarters of his base, where he was able to exactly combine, where he was able to exactly infuse himself with more shadow energy and more power until his eyes began to glow a dark spark of power, where he became more powerful and more sinister than ever. Deadman even exactly revealed his ancient dark mystical power, which was more dark energy and a dark spell energy and a dark energy spell of power, which half of the dark energy spell power has been extracted, and some of it has also been extracted as he realizes that the dark magic users have completely decided to extract half of the dark energy magical spell power and hide some of it away. And Deadman completely was successfully proud of the dark magic users of his followers that they were able to extract some of the dark magic power, and decided, and then Deadman decided ultimately to submerge himself and subtly merge and infuse himself with the dark energy spell ultimate power of dark magic, and combining himself. At this point, he became too powerful and he became too deadly and very, very destructive as well. On the 15th of August, Deadman attended a video conference with the members of the Order of Darkness, where Silverface told the members of the Order of Darkness that everything else is quietly organized the way it's supposed to be, and that the schedule is quietly in place, that he's placed spies and inside moles within the Intergalactic Coalition, especially with the new Lord of Magic forming a new, powerful, formidable, ancient secret society of supervillains known as the Order of Power that's willing to exterminate and wipe out the supernaturals and aliens and superhumans in the process, as well as their greatest enemy, the Universal Heroes and the United Heroes and the Intergalactic Coalition in the process as well. Despite this, Deadman was quietly pleased that everything else is going according to plan, and that he successfully able to success and that he was able to successfully going back to his duties and also to his primal duties as well. That's all exactly mattered to him as well at the process. On the 20th of August, Silverface met up with Deadman, telling him that the Order of Darkness still needs his leadership, still needs his help and his expertise and his talents. And Deadman completely agreed with Silverface that he'll continue supplying the assassins and the other members of the Order of Darkness with more destructive and powerful technology, since he was able to gather some and that they completely have more. And Silverface was completely proud and impressed with Deadman's devotion, and also was very much quietly intrigued by it, as he told Deadman that he was the right choice to join the organization and also to become part of the group as well. And Deadman completely agreed with Silverface as well. Deadman exactly told Silverface he has his own plans for the time being, but he will exactly proceed by sending more resources to the Order of Darkness and everything else that the founders need, and that he will exactly help make sure that the founders' goal, that the founders become the sole rulers of the cosmos and of the rest of the sacred universe as well in the process. And Silverface was reluctantly pleased as he shook hands with Deadman, stated that Master Bond did not exactly make a mistake with choosing you to become the right candidate to becoming the member of the Order of Darkness, and Deadman completely agreed as well. On the 16th of September, Deadman and a group of dark magic users entered a powerful dark temple where they began a powerful sinister ritual in merging and infusing himself with more shadow energy and more power. At this rate, he decided to regain his perception and his power and his abilities at the cost, and in doing so, he was able to exactly gain the power of sensing and also detecting powerful energies and powerful magical energies, such as sensing Universal Man's power and Universal Magical's power and the Universal Magic Hero's power and the Universal Monster Hero's power and the World Heroes and also the other sacred heroes as well, and also the United Heroes and the Intergalactic Coalition and the Four Nation Hunters energy and power at the very much of a far distance as well. One dark druid exactly told Deadman that Witchcaster and the other dark powerful witches are searching for an ancient dark mythical power, which he's very well known, which he very well is well aware, and that he told him that the universal heroes and the rest of the universal magic heroes have the ultimate power, highly secured and highly hidden and highly protected at a distant planet known as Planet Yellow. And Deadman was completely reluctantly pleased that everything else is going according to schedule until he decided to take matters into his own hands as well. On the 19th of on the 19th on the 19th on the 19th of September on the 19th of September, Deadman decided to dispatch one of his elite assassins to make sure that everything else goes according to plan until he can successfully do the mission and the mission himself, which he decided to dispatch his assassins and his operatives as well. On the 13th of October, Deadman exactly began taking action and immediate effective action in deciding to fight against the Universal Magic Heroes, which he successfully able to do so while powering them, and the Universal Magic Heroes completely rose to the occasion and defeated their greatest ally. Deadman realized that it was quietly overly matched against the Universal Magic Heroes and that their power and their magic was too great and also too powerful as well, and he decided to teleport himself and quietly completely away as he returned to his central headquarters of his base of operation, and he told the members of the Order of Darkness that everything else is going according to plan the way it was supposed to be. On the 10th of November, Deadman and the members of the Order of Darkness exactly returned to a video conference where Silverface exactly told them that it's time for them to exactly begin their missions and their plans and their protocol to take out the Intergalactic Coalition and to remove the Universal Heroes out of the way, which he successfully had a plan and a very much of an operation that's quietly in place. And Deadman successfully agreed that it's time for them to move and wipe out the Universal Heroes out of the way completely as well, and the rest of their allies completely as well. Despite this, guys, Deadman is very skilled in hand-to-hand combat and in swordsmanship, and also has the dark ability and power to awaken the army of the dead and controlling it at will. He has a power of telepathic, the power of telekinesis, the power of reading minds of telepathic, the power of telepathic, the power of telepathic, and the power of telekinesis, and the power of teleportation, and the power of opening portals, and the power of creating dark energy orbs of power which can control the living and the dead, and the power of reading thoughts and minds, and the power of sensing and detecting powerful ancient magical abilities. Deadman is a high-ranking member of the Order of Darkness, which is an ancient sacred terrorist organization that exactly works on the behalf of the founders, which are an ancient group of supervillains who are willing to become the sole rulers of the rest of the cosmos and the rest of humanity and the rest of sacred existence. Deadman exactly completely believes in the Order of Darkness's goals to restore power and also control to the rest of sacred existence and rest of the sacred world, and he views the Universal Heroes and the Formation Hunters and the Intergalactic Coalition as a threat and also as powerful evil adversaries to his goal, and is willing to stop them and prevent them from exactly sabotaging the future goals of his masters and of his leaders as well. We need to make sure that the Order of Darkness remains in control and in power of the situation, then it can also empower the founders to making sure that they are also in control of everything that goes on within the sacred galactic conflict and war between the monsters and the Formation Hunters, and with the Universal Heroes fighting many sinister ancient groups of other supervillains. And Deadman is willing to make sure that the Order of the Five, Sacred Five, the Order of the Six, the Order of the Seven, and also the Unholy Alliance, and also the Sacred Circle are willing to exactly pay the price, and is willing to sabotage their plans and their goals to make sure that the founders remain in power and in control, especially to sabotaging the goals of the Universal Prince and the members of the Order of the 12 to make sure that they are in control and also in power as well. He's very, very skilled in deception, manipulation, and also in controlling and believing that the Order of Darkness is destined to restore power to humanity and to the sacred world. And he's very, very skilled in swordsmanship and in hand-to-hand combat, and he's very strategic and very, very, very clever and very intelligent. He exactly is willing to unlock the secrets of darkness and the secrets of immortality and death and life, and also the secrets of shadow energy to become more immortal and to become more powerful. He maintains his usual bases of operation, such as essential headquarters, where he can operate full in secrecy and also within the shadows. Within the shadows, his central headquarters or base of operation is within an ancient, powerful dark cave where his laboratory is exactly quietly held, and where he can successfully experiment on himself and also experiment on living dark creatures and beings to awaken and control the dead as well. Which his central headquarters is in another ancient, powerful, mystical, ancient dark forest where he can exactly operate in full secrecy and within the shadows. Despite this, he's willing to make sure that the Four Nation Hunters are willing to pay the price, and he's willing to make sure that they are wiped out and successfully, completely removed out of the way. He despises he despises all sacred hunters. The Four Nation Hunters, the Five Nation Hunters, the Six Nation Hunters, the 10 Nation Hunters, the 11 Nation Hunters, the 7, the 1 Nation Hunters, the 2 Nation Hunters. He despises all the sacred nation hunters, and is willing to make sure that the monsters successfully remove them and wipe them out of the way, as long as he benefits to rule and conquer known worlds and known planets in the process. He's very ambitious and very ruthless and cruel. His personality is very twisted and very dark, and he likes to battle. He likes the thrill of battle, and he likes to find himself finding an evenly matched adversary, such as Noah, who's the leader of the Universal Founders, and also the Universal Magic Heroes, and also the Universal Earth Heroes and the Universal Heroes as well, willing to take them down and willing to make sure that they successfully removed out of the way, because they pose a threat to his goals and also to the goals of his masters as well. Despite this, he's very ambitious, very, 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 very ruthless and cruel, smart, clever, and very, very bright. In his early life, he used to study so much about immortality and death and life, and through reading through sacred textures of books to know more about shadow energy and all of its secrets and all of his powers. So obsessed with power, and with dark energy, willing to combine and infuse himself with shadow energy and with the bloods of the dark creatures, such as the goblins and the trolls as well, to make sure that he unlocks their power and their secret. He has the ability and the power to control the dead and awakening an army of the dead at will, which makes him more powerful and more dangerous than ever. According to Shadow Boy, Deadman is very powerful and very deathless. He's one of the high-ranking members of the Order of Darkness, who are more powerful and who are more deadly and not meant to be underestimated. He's lived for many centuries and for many years. He's very respectful of nature and everything else, and he's willing to make sure that the goals of the founders and the goals of the Order of Darkness come to bear fruit, no matter what. Well, guys, that's it for today. I will exactly successfully see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful, blessed evening and a wonderful, blessed day. Enjoy your day and continue to pursue your dreams. And also, God bless you all. I'm very grateful for your support. Very much grateful for it. Thank you. Bye. Bye.